Okay, we're up to the Shearer, page 26. Before the sun hit the horizon, Joe awoke, prepared his shears for the day. 5 shearing blades needed to be sharpened in good working order. He dressed in his dungarees, his trousers washed before he left town. They had extra cloth sewn along the front and back legs to protect him from sharp sheep hooves. He wore a singlet with patches under each arm where the sheep's feet pressed against while shearing. His pay, the number of sheep shorn each day, and to be a gun shearer at this shed he needed to shear at least 70 sheep a day, every day until the shed run out. Wages were always a concerned amount of work a shearer needed to do to make a decent wage. Shearing 100 sheep, shearers were paid a quid or £1, which equated to about twopence per sheep shorn. Normally Joe sheared about 60 sheep a day. The breakfast bell jangled metal against metal to arouse the men. Joe was one of the first to grace the table. Freshly cooked damper, fried sheep brains, liver, kidney, heart and chops from the kill the night before, covered with thick gravy, was soon devoured by men gathered around the table, finished off with a pannikin of black tea. If the shed had a good cook, the shearers were happy and content. This shed had a good cook with an abundance of food. Joe sat back from the table, rubbed his stomach, and congratulated the cook on a fine breakfast, which took him to Morning Smoko to have freshly cooked scones. Bluey Simpson walked beside Joe to the shearing shed. "Good morning, boss," Joe called to Cocky Young, dressed in white to display his role as owner of the sheep property. Cocky Young acknowledged Joe and Bluey with a nod of his head and stood in the centre of the shearing shed where 7 shearers shore his sheep. He watched constantly to see how many of his sheep received unnecessary cuts to the hide, where the tar boy rushed to cover the cut with stock on tar to stop the bleed. The shearing shed was built with bush timber, huge poles which held the raw timber rafters holding roof in place, with hewn wooden slabs on the floor. The 7-stand shed measured approximately 100 feet in length, 30 feet in breadth. 7 pens built through the centre of the shearing shed to house the sheep before being shorn. Each shearer took his position in front of the selected pen. Their role was to open a gate, enter the pen, grab a sheep, roll the sheep on their back, physically drag it to the point in front of the gate, close the gate so not to allow any other sheep in the pen to escape. With the front legs of the sheep pointing up under the armpits of the shearer, the shearer, first removed the belly wool. The roustabout, the young lad, would rush to pick up the belly wool, given the shearer sufficient room to remove the rest of the wool. This was taken in one complete cut, peeling away layer upon layer of wool as the shearer worked magic with his shears. Again, the roustabout collected the fleece, whilst the shearer dispatched the shorn sheep down a chute before entering the catching pen to retrieve the next one. Cocky Young kept score on the board to indicate how many sheep each shearer shore.